Hello everyone, welcome back to the Greenwood Mulliner Show here on Newcastle Fans TV. Alongside myself and Sam Mulliner, we have a PDC darts. Well, he's in the top 40 of the PDC darts world rankings, and he's got a Pro Tour win to his name as well. It is Ryan Joyce. Welcome to the show, Ryan.
Yeah, hello.
Sam, the darts is a passion for me and you.
Yes.
And we've had Chris on, we've had Callan on, and now we've got Ryan on. There's a bit of a battle in the Northeast brewing, isn't there, Sam?
There is. And Ryan, you're well in the mix there. But unlike kind of Chris and Callan, I get the feeling that you just love playing darts. And the fact that whether it's PDC Pro Tour, whether it's Super League, I mean, I know when you were like winning your tour events, like the next weekend after or the next month after, you're still playing for Tyne and Wear at County down in freaking Shropshire, down my neck of the woods. So where did the love start, and do you just love playing whatever level it is?
Yeah, I'm not very good at anything else, so I only had darts to go for, really. I don't do anything else. I haven't got a job or anything, so I like to keep my arm in the local competitions and play as often as I can. It's good practice, good match practice.
Who were your heroes growing up, Ryan, when you were watching darts as a young lad? Was there a particular player that you really looked up to?
Yeah, Phil Taylor. I used to like watching him play. I thought he was the best player. I wanted to be like him.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard not to love Phil Taylor. Were there any others because obviously Taylor's everyone's, but did you have a love for maybe Barney or Priestley or Bristow? Who was your other guy?
No, not really. Probably
Taylor
Adrian Lewis was the other one. I think Adrian Lewis was the other player that I admired. He looked so naturally gifted, and he made it look so easy.
He really did. I love the story about how he got his nickname, where he won so much money in Vegas, and then because he was only 20 years old, he couldn't claim it. That's one of the stories you have to research. But Ryan, of course, you're a big Newcastle fan as well. What was your biggest passion when you were growing up? Was it Newcastle United, or was it the darts, or was it a bit of both? What did you prefer when you were younger?
Yeah, I wasn't really interested in darts when I was younger. I used to play football and cricket. That was the two sports I used to play. But I was a lot fitter and younger then. Since I started playing darts, I've let myself go a bit. I'm much heavier now.
No.
I can't play football anymore.
Prime athlete, dart players. I don't care what anyone says. Athletes through and through. But can you remember your first sort of experience at Newcastle United? What was it that got you hooked?
Yeah, my dad took us to a game at St James's Park. I was only about 5 or 6 years old. I remember Newcastle were in one of the lower divisions, maybe Division 3, and I think they beat Norwich 3-1, and a striker called David Kelly scored a hat-trick. And that's my first memory of Newcastle United and going to the games. We're just at the stadium. Then there were standing areas. They had these like big concrete square things what you could stand against. That's what I remember first about the Newcastle.
David Kelly must be your era, Sam, isn't it?
No, that's that. Well, he scored a hat-trick on the telly. That's all I'm saying. But to be fair, Johnny, whilst you may be the youngest of the three of us, you definitely look the eldest.
We'll leave that one for another podcast. But was it just when you seen that game and you seen David Kelly, for example, Ryan? Were you just hooked from day one, basically?
I can't remember what the feelings were. I was so young. But I went to more games, obviously, and I like playing football and outside in the street with my friends and things like that. And I think I can't remember the exact date I started to understand football properly and really get into it and start watching it. But I've always loved watching the football. It's been until a certain time when a certain person ruined it all for us.
Yeah.
It was.
Thankfully, that person's pissed off though now, hasn't he?
Yeah. I remember had a season ticket. I went to all the games. I remember Bobby Robson was manager. I went to all the games when he was manager. And then Kevin Keegan, I think, took over for the second time. I can't remember when it was, maybe 2000 and something, 2002, something like that. But I remember he had to resign because of loads of stuff that happened behind the scenes. And I was so angry that I promised myself I'd never ever go back and watch Newcastle United as long as Mike Ashley was in charge of the club. And I didn't. I never ever went back until Newcastle played Tottenham this season. It was the first time I ever went back to St James's Park.
Oh, what a day that was! We were both there that day as well.
Yeah, I got a ticket off Chris Dobie, who was nice to us.
Oh, bless him! But what do you remember about that day? How soon did you get round to St James's Park? Because 3 hours before kickoff, it was rammed outside. It was like a carnival, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think we got there about 1 o'clock, and we were standing outside the stadium for a long time, just enjoying the atmosphere. It was something else, wasn't it?
What a day!
It's
just a shame we lost, but who would have thought?
Yeah.
Like, still one of the most enjoyable days ever, even though we lost 3-2. It was mad.
Yeah, it was nice to be there and experience that atmosphere.
You talk about Chris, who you were sitting next to when you were at that Tottenham game. I've seen him at a few away games. He absolutely loves it. He really, really does. Him and Callum have both been on talking about Newcastle. Is there an excitement between the three of you, or maybe other Newcastle fans? Like Adam Hunt's a Newcastle fan as well. Do you think there's a real sense of actually we can actually compete now? We've got hope, we've got belief, we've got the confidence that if we can get through this season, then the next few seasons Newcastle can actually be a little bit better, and God knows where we'll be.
Yeah, it's really exciting, isn't it, to see who they're going to sign and things like that. You can already see they're starting to improve, aren't they? And this summer transfer window is going to be massive. I think there's going to be some big players coming in. And hopefully they can push on and be a little bit more like maybe West Ham and Leicester, teams like that who have good players and they're always trying to finish in the top six.
So you're already looking ahead to the summer, which I kind of really want to do, but I'm a bit wary that the job of securing safety, I don't think, isn't quite done just yet. Do you think we are safe, or do you think there's still some work to do?
No, definitely not safe yet. A couple more wins would do. Hopefully the win against Wolves, and I think that should be enough. I think maybe it's 3 draws. So if you get 37 points, I think it'll be enough this season.
I completely agree with you, Ryan. I think 37 is the magic number this season. I think that's enough when you look at like a Burnley, Everton, Watford, those kind of 3 teams, along with Norwich, who are probably going to get relegated. It's going to be very, very interesting. But who are the players that you want to watch week in, week out? I think obviously everyone looks at saint-maximin, Callum Wilson when he's fit. But is there any other players that really catch your eye when you're watching Newcastle?
I like watching all of them. I think I'm so disappointed that Kieran Trippier got injured because he looked like a real quality player and he was good to watch. I've been enjoying watching Shelby play as well. I think when he's really switched on and playing at his best, he's a really good player. Some of the passes he's capable of doing look great, but I just wish he was a little bit better defensively, maybe. But it's a shame that he's not. That he makes a kind of few mistakes, doesn't he?
He does, but he has had a fantastic resurgence since Eddie Howe's come in as manager.
He looks a lot better, doesn't he?
Oh, massively so. But what do you make of the job Eddie Howe's done so far?
Yeah, he's done well, hasn't he? Seems like he knows what he's doing. Team looks like it's starting to play in a certain way that's a lot better than it used to be. So it's I'm hopeful going forward to see what they look like when they've got everybody fit and they get some new players in. We'll see how it gets on.
You talk about new players in particular, Ryan. Obviously, it was a really busy transfer window in January for Newcastle, like Dan Burn, Matt Targett, Chris Wood is coming as well, and then Bruno Guimaraes, of course, the man that everybody seems to love at the minute, the Brazilian wonder kid. What do you make of the new signings? Because they've all came and I was going to say most of them have flourished. I think Chris Wood, there'll be some people that will argue that he hasn't really hit the form that he was showing at Burnley, probably more last season. But do you think it was sensible business by Newcastle?
Yeah, I think they've signed some good players. Definitely defensively, everybody's been praising Target and Burn for how well they've performed, especially during that run where they went unbeaten for 8 or 9 games, wasn't it? Even in the 2 games after that as well, against, I think it was Chelsea, and I can't remember who the other one was, but those 2 games, Newcastle were the better team. I thought they should have won those games. They were very unlucky. So they have been playing really well. I don't know what happened against Tottenham, but it was awful in the second half, wasn't it? I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, it was.
Every team has a bad day, though, don't they? Even Chelsea got beat 4-1 off Brentford, didn't they? And you look at results like that and you think, well, these things happen in the Premier League. Sometimes you just have bad days, even if you've got some of the best players in the world.
Absolutely. I don't know what's happened to Chelsea lately, but their results have really took a downward spiral. Long may it continue. Yeah. But I think Bruno and, like you say, Burn and Target have added a bit of, Tottenham game aside, added a bit of defensive assurance. On Target, would you want to sign him on a permanent in the summer, or maybe do you think now with all this new financial backing that we've got, we could sign someone even better at left back?
Well, if they can sign someone better, that's what you should do, then, isn't it? Why keep somebody when you can sign someone better? But obviously, that's not up to me. I'm sure the people that run the club have got a plan in place. I'm sure they're going to make the right decisions, I think.
What do you make of the new ownership? Because takeover night was special for so many reasons. Sam managed to get his little 5 minutes on Sky Sports News, and he hasn't stopped talking about it ever since, Ryan. So, if he starts mentioning it, just be quiet a little bit. But because he wasn't at Newcastle that day, he was at work, so he doesn't like talking about it too much. But can you remember where you were when the news broke that Newcastle had been taken over by the richest consortium? And what have you made of what they've done so far, like Amanda Stavey, Mia Daikodussi in particular? They really seem to enjoy being a part of this football club, don't they?
Yeah, I can't remember where I was, but I remember I probably watched Sky Sports News more often than I've ever watched it in my life for 5 or 6 days. Watching the news, I was watching it for hours, sometimes 6 hours. I sat and watched it. It come out of the blue, I thought, for me, because after all the years of waiting and all the rumours and things, and we thought it was going to happen like over a year ago, didn't we? And then all of a sudden, it just come out of the blue. I thought I wasn't expecting it at all, because everybody was thinking that it's just not going to happen, didn't we? And then it was an absolute huge relief, I think, is the words to say for me, to see them. And since they come in, they've been brilliant, haven't they? They see all the right things, and they've got all these nice plans, and that's all Newcastle fans have ever wanted, isn't it? To just have somebody that wants to be successful and wants to invest, and we just want a team we can be proud of and go and watch every day, whether they win anything or not,
Yeah, not just that as well, but like cleaning the windows at the stadium, taking the sports direct crap off the stadium as well. It's just the little things that, like, I don't think Newcastle fans expect a lot. I think that's a bit of a media urban myth, but like them little things are the stuff that we go crazy about, because we're incredibly proud of our club and our stadium, aren't we? And Ashley just didn't get that. So it sounds stupid, but like doing the stadium tied, giving that the once over is arguably just as good as bringing in Dan Burn or whoever, isn't it? Or am I talking nonsense?
No, those things are right. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, everybody was mentioning stuff like that, especially taking down those signs that people were celebrating when they come down, weren't they?
It's just the little things, isn't it? It's just the little things. It's getting the little things right. Like even just moving changing the bar back to Shearers. That just little things like that just make a massive
Yeah.
difference. But it's been brilliant since they've come in. They've really got the area, they've got the city, they've got the people, which I think is the most important thing. And I think that's what Mike actually just didn't get. But I think it's going to be such a huge summer. If Newcastle do stay up, Ryan, do you want them to spend so much money? Do you want them to spend the hundreds of millions of pounds straight away, or do you think there needs to be like a gradual process and maybe walk before we run?
It depends on the players. I think I'd like to see them sign lots of young players, not older players.
Why in particular? Why young?
I don't know. I just think that's the best way to do it. It's much better in the long term for the club as well. I think to sign younger players rather than older players. That if you look at what Manchester City done when they had all their money, they made a lot of mistakes with signings of big players that were like in their 30s when they signed players like Robinho and players like that. Yaya Toure was another one. He had a couple of brilliant seasons, but then that was it. You want a core of players that are going to be there for a decade, and like what Manchester United done when they were so successful. They had a fabulous core of young players that were there for a long time, and that's the sort of team I would want to put together if I had the money.
Yeah. I don't disagree, but mind you, I wouldn't say no to a couple of Yaya Toure-esque seasons. He was fantastic at for winning City's
I understand
first.
Yeah.
But where do you see things going in terms of, say, 5 seasons time? Do you think we'll be back to the days when you had your season ticket under Sababi and playing in Europe, or do you think the top 6, top 4 is just a bit too difficult to break into at the minute?
Oh no, it's not too hard to break into, is it? We've seen teams do it before. Once you get a good enough team and you get on a run of form and you get confidence, anybody can do it. We've seen Leicester win the Premier League. We've seen other teams challenge for the top 4. You look at Arsenal; they've spent a while outside the top 4, and then they found something, a little bit of form, and now they're favourites to finish in the top 4. That's all you need. You just need a good team that's playing well, and you can achieve what you want, really, can't you?
Yeah.
You have to believe that you can do it. You don't want to go into a season thinking, "Oh, it's too hard to finish in the top 4," because we've seen plenty of teams that can do it.
100%. There is a big debate, especially online, with a lot of Newcastle fans, right, about the stadium, whether it needs to be expanded, whether we need to move grounds, whether there needs to be a lot more done in regards to St James's Park. Do you think Newcastle should just try and extend it if they can in certain areas? Do you think it needs moving, maybe try and move it to a different part of the city? What's your opinion? Do you think Newcastle should just stay where they are or move? Where do you see it?
I don't know. I've never really thought about it. Maybe they could build a new stadium somewhere that was bigger, because it certainly would fill it, wouldn't it? It just depends whether they could find the right place to do it. And I don't know if the majority of fans might not like to move to a new stadium. I don't know. I couldn't speak for everybody else.
Yeah, I wouldn't be a big lover of moving. I'm a bit of a traditionalist, and I think there's a danger with these new stadiums. They're all a bit samey, and they just lack that bit of atmosphere. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, because the Spurs stadium's all right. But although Johnny, you were at Spurs last week when we got smashed. What was the atmosphere like then?
I have to be honest, from the Newcastle fans, it wasn't the best. It wasn't the best atmosphere that I've ever experienced as an away fan at Newcastle. But Tottenham, it was only maybe the last 5-10 minutes, even though they were 4-5-1 up. It was only because Conte was kind of bigging the crowd up a little bit, like he was moving his arms up in the air. But the actual stadium itself is absolutely incredible. It's probably one of the best I've ever been to. But I don't know. It's one of those old age debates, isn't it? Where what's better for Newcastle right now? What's better for Newcastle in 5 years? What's better for Newcastle in 10 years? I still think it's probably still best for Newcastle to still be where they are, even in 10 years' time, 15 years' time. I think it's the masterpiece in the city. Ryan, I'm sure you can agree. When you go to Newcastle, the stadium just fills the city. You can see it from pretty much anywhere, can't you?
Yeah, it's something else to go there. It's like nothing, like no other place really that I've been to anyway. Although I've never been to watch Borussia Dortmund or somewhere like that. I mean, I've heard that atmosphere is pretty good as well.
Yeah, I mean, like you'd love like the European nights back at St James's Park. That's what I'm kind of hoping for the most, because you get the European teams there, the supporters over, and it just makes that atmosphere a lot more special. And we've had some fantastic nights in Europe in the past. Were you, if you had a season ticket under the days of Sir Bobby, did you ever get to the Champions League nights at St James's?
No, I'd never seen a Champions League game there, unfortunately.
Oh.
I used to just have to watch that on the telly.
The glory days of ITV2.
Yeah.
It's funny you should mention like Sam absolutely loves the Champions League on ITV. He's not a massive fan of it on BT now, but saying that, if anybody at BT Sport wants to come on to the Greenwood Mulliner Show, we'll pick it up for sure. But what's the banter like between the lads and the darts when it comes to the football? Have you got more of an argument now when it comes to Newcastle, Ryan? Do you feel like you can fight that corner pretty well, or are the other lads still giving yourself and Chris and Colin in particular a load of stick?
Yeah, we usually just talk about results when we play. Obviously, there's lots of different PDC players support different teams, and we usually have a bit of banter in the build-up to when you're playing that team. Or I know Steve West supports Tottenham, Louis Williams supports Everton, things like that. You know, we'll have a little bit of banter when we play each other. Yeah, definitely. But I've never really heard anything about the takeover or nothing like that. We haven't spoke about that much.
No, because they're all probably petrified.
Yeah, I haven't mentioned it.
Especially your Spurs fans, your Arsenal fans, like the ones that are maybe latching on to the top four a little bit. The last thing they needed was extra competition. But what are your favourite at the darts? What are your favourite tournaments to go and play in? What are your favourite? Because obviously, what people don't realise, who don't follow darts really closely, is that it is a full-time job now. It's the schedule on the PDC is absolutely relentless. So is that something you embrace, or where are your favourite events to go and play?
I like going to Barnsley and playing in Players' Championship events on the floor. It's because it's quite close to travel to. I stay in the same hotel all the time. I know everything is. I just feel comfortable there. I used to love playing at Ali Pali in the World Championship as well, but it's not my favourite anymore because I get quite nervous in the build-up, and I've got to travel all the way to London, and it's not a very nice place to go at the minute, and it's just a bit stressful. So I like the local ones better, where I don't have to travel very far.
To be honest with you, Ryan, though, even when you talk about the fact you maybe don't like Ali Pali, in the 2019, that World Championship run, you beat some unbelievable names to get to the quarter-final, and I think you had a very difficult first round draw, to be honest with you. I think it's probably, let's be honest, I don't think darts players would admit that, but I don't think they want to play a female player just because obviously you see the likes of Fallon Sherrick, who's done exceptionally well. Obviously you had Anastasia Bronislava, and obviously you won very convincingly in the end. But that's probably one of the worst first round draws to have. But from that result, it must have just grew your confidence because you did it unbelievably well, and some of the names you beat, incredible.
Yeah, it is a bit unusual playing anything different is not good. I think if you're a professional at something and you practice something all the time and you're used to things, it's good. But anything different is usually bad, and it's not very often you get to play a woman on the stage. And yeah, it was tough. It was like a new experience. You're not sure how you're going to handle it, and you're not sure how the crowd's going to react, things like that. And was a total unknown, but I managed to get through it. Could have went the other way, you know.
But is there because obviously Anastasia's no stranger to a big stage, multiple Lakeside champions, played in the Grand Slam a few times at Wolverhampton. So does that give, if you say you struggle with nerves, especially at Ali Pali, did that add a lot of extra pressure onto yourself?
It does feel like you're under more pressure here, and obviously you're playing for a lot of money. That adds to the pressure. And depending on your form leading up to the competition as well, if you're a bit low on confidence and you haven't had many wins, that can affect you as well. There's lots of different things can impact on how you're feeling just before a game.
100%, but you obviously from that to promise over a win, beating players like Simon Whitlock, Alan Morris, obviously he's done really well on Lakeside over the years, and then that win over James Wade, 4-3. He's looked so calm under pressure. Like, obviously talking about this is for big money now, but that Wade win must have just made you feel so good about your own game and think, well, I can beat anybody. James Wade's a multiple major winner. It must fill you with so much belief in your career from now, maybe even 5 years' time, because that's the biggest games and the biggest stages in front of the biggest crowds.
Yeah, well, it was an unbelievable experience. I'll never forget that day. Yeah, I didn't even play really well actually in those games. I was just doing enough, and my finishing was good. I remember. But yeah, I'll never forget that run. Hopefully, I can do it again one day, but I haven't got close to it yet. I'll have to stop here. Actually, my phone's going to die, so I'm 1%, and I've lost my charger wire. I can't find it anywhere. It's literally going to die any second now. I don't know what to do about it. I could put the laptop on and join you in 2 minutes or so. I don't know if that's any good.
I'll tell you what, Sam. We'll just end it. We'll just end it here. But or just before you go, Ryan, thank you very much for joining. It's been an absolute pleasure. But yeah, we wish you all the very best of luck in the PDC from now until the end of the season.
What's going on?
Ryan has got his battery. He did say his battery.
His battery's died. The 1% lasted a hell of a lot longer than expected.
Definitely, but I think finally, Sam, because we've got a couple of minutes before we'll wrap things up. Ryan got to the quarterfinal and he got beat off Michael Van Geuren 5-1. But to be in that position, prime time, quarterfinal against the best player in the world, yes, 5-1 seems, it seems very, very not as close as it could be. But in pretty much every set went to 5 legs, bar one set with Van Geuren 3-0. It just shows that Ryan is such a tough player to beat.
I mean, that's set play for you for a start. And they're all like mini matches, aren't they? Of best first to 3 mini matches, aren't they in themselves? That's the kind of advantage or disadvantage of set play, whatever way you look at it, as opposed to straightforward match play. Because you could win more legs in the game, but still lose because you're down in sets. So he's a tough player to beat, is Ryan. Yeah, you'd see there he's not flash about things. He's just your run-of-the-mill dart player who wants to play darts and is bloody good at it. So he's got a long way to go in the game, and he'll be more successful in the future. I have no doubt about it, and can improve on quarterfinal finishes, and he could even land a major one day. It would be no surprise to see whatsoever, because on his day, as you say, Johnny, he's very, very tough to beat.
Yeah, 36 in the world. Chris is 32 in the world. Callum's, I think, 27 in the world, 28 in the world. So it's very close between the three of them. All massive Newcastle fans as well, which is an absolute bonus. I was going to mention before his battery went, Ryan, obviously a big Pro Tour win as well. His only major win was obviously a non-televised one. 8-7 over Dave Chisney. It was 7-5 down, actually, Sam, if you remember rightly, and managed to win on the last leg. Chisney missed a couple of darts, must have been feeling the pressure. But Ryan, second dart, double 10, straight in, 8-7 win, especially in difficult COVID times as well. It's obviously fantastic to see him do well. And he said he enjoyed those 4 events. It must be brilliant when you're enjoying doing something and getting a nice little paycheck at the end, 10 grand in the back pocket as well.
Floor events are great. I absolutely love them. I've been fortunate enough to go and watch a few of them because there's no crowds there, so it's just the players, their management, and a few friends that are allowed in there. and everyone's there, all 128 players, and it really is anyone's game. Short format, most of all, just first to 6 legs straight up, and then the semis and final are a tiny bit longer. But anyone can win it on their day, and I'm so glad that Ryan did get his day, because there'll be a 9-darter at some point in that room during the day every time. Every time. The standard now is ridiculous. So it takes a bloody good player to win on the floor. A very, very good player, because that's where I know you see the standard on the telly is ridiculous, but probably the highest standards you will see is in them floor tournaments on the Players' Championship Tour.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. If you win a full tournament, you can definitely count yourself a very, very good player, which Ryan has done. Hopefully, you can get to the top 32 this year. That would be a fantastic achievement for Ryan this year. Yeah, this has been the Greenwood Mulliner Show. I think it's the first time I guess it's run out of battery, but it doesn't matter. We've still got a good half an hour out of Ryan. Joyce, make sure you give all. We'll wish him all the very best as well. Personally, me and Sam will. From now to the end of the season. Hopefully he has a good run in the World Championships as well. Maybe a repeat of 2019. Maybe do one better. Kind of get to the semis, the final. Who knows? But Sam, where can everybody listen to this podcast?
Google it. Everywhere, you know by now. The link's in the description if you're watching on YouTube. It's available everywhere where you listen to your podcasts. And if you're on Spotify or iTunes, hit the 5-star and the subscribe button, and then the new episode will appear in your feed every Tuesday.
Well, a big thanks to Ryan, Joyce, and a big thanks to you as well, Sam, because it's been fantastic talking to you as per. This has been the Greenwood Mulliner Show, and we'll see you all very soon.